Hi, I'm Paul Graff with Twin Beans Coffee.
And I'm Sara Graff, also with Twin Beans Coffee.
And today we're going to talk about cold brew, how to do a cold brew at home. And we're going to focus on the brewing time, the coffee grounds, your water, all the processes that go into making a good cup of cold brew coffee, iced coffee. When you grind your coffee, you want to go with a very coarse grind because it's going to be in this water for an extended period of time. So you're going to be somewhere between 12 to 24 hours before you're ready to filter it out into your carafe.
One of the things that I love about cold brew coffee is that it has such a low acidity. So anyone who has trouble with like heartburn, this is a really good alternative. It's really easy to play with, and cold brew's been around for a really long time, but there's no set rules. So you can basically do whatever you want for your own preference.
We generally go with a darker roast and let the coffee sit for between 16 to 20 hours. That's kind of what we do here in-house. So we'll start with the toddy, the home toddy system. They have a new biodegradable paper filter. So this has a little handle that comes on here. This sits inside. You'll have the filter and the coffee plug. There has been times where I have made this in the past and have forgotten one of these items.
It's an important step. You don't want to forget that one.
Yes, the filter is probably the key one, because otherwise when you take this plug out of the bottom, everything just comes flying through and you got to filter it afterwards. I have had that happen, but it does work. So you just set this filter in the bottom here. The plug will go down here, and the filter will set inside. And then you'll take your coffee. We've pre-ground this at a coarse grind.
And this is, for this size, we're doing 12 ounces of coffee grounds. So that's one of our full bags here in-house.
One of the things that you want to make sure of is that if you are using a finer grind than we did with a very coarse grind, which is almost a rock salt level, then you want to add some water to the bottom before you put your coffee grounds in, then pour your coffee grounds, then top it with the last of your water. Otherwise, you'll get all those grounds sitting on that bottom filter and it'll plug and it'll take hours to drain. So what we'll do now is we'll put about half of the water in.
And you use nice circular motions just to make sure that everything is getting saturated on the same level. You don't want big patches of dry beans with some that have a lot of water. You just want a nice, even extraction.
Exactly. So that's about half of the water. And while we're waiting for that to, what we call bloom a little, so that the coffee grounds will expand, and then we'll stir it a little bit, just lightly enough to make sure everything is all together.
And you can use a wooden spoon, you can use a spatula, basically anything you won't lose in your coffee grounds.
What we do is we let this set for roughly about 5 minutes to get the coffee grounds all wet and they expand a little bit. And then that gives it time to break that little top area. You can't see that, but you can see what I'm doing is just kind of giving it a little bit of a stir. And then we will take and pour the rest of the water in. This was a little bit of a lighter roast, so I can be a little bit more aggressive with how much I'm stirring and how much I'm pouring. If it was a darker roast, I wouldn't want to have a whole lot of movement of the grounds. That movement will tend to extract some of the more roasty flavors and bitter flavors. Now, once you've poured the water in, what you want to do is just kind of twist tie this shut or just secure it some way and put it aside where you're not going to bump it, so that you don't have a huge mess all over your kitchen or countertop. Then after the time period that you've decided to let this brew, which, like I said before, it'd be anywhere between 12 and 24 hours. In this particular case, I would go about 16 hours with our Bolivian peaberry. And then at 16 hours, I'm going to take this and over this, I'm gonna pull this cork out, and then I'm gonna set it on here and let it just drain. It will take about 15 minutes to drain all the coffee into the bottom. If you've stirred it a little bit too much and it's a little bit finer grind, it'll sit on that filter in the bottom and fill it, and you can just take your spoon and gently scrape it away from that filter until it drains out. You just don't want to pull that filter out and let it all drain. If you do, then you'll need to use one of your other filters and let that filter all your coffee grounds out so you don't end up with them in your mouth. So now we've got our coffee ready to go, ready to drink. It is a concentrate, so it is pretty strong at this point.
There's a lot of options that you can do with this one. It's something that you can change and adjust as much as you want for your own personal preference. And it's super convenient in the summer, so just have it in your fridge ready to go. It does have a good shelf life. I think it's about
2 weeks.
About 2 weeks that your cold brew can sit in your fridge. Again, that's up to preference and how fast you drink it.
Now that we've got our coffee all brewed and ready to go, now it's time to enjoy. So we're going to do a couple of possibilities. One is just a straight iced coffee and one is a latte. So Sarah, if you would.
Now this is a concentrate. We like our coffee strong, but most people, they will add water just to kind of make it not hit them in the face so much. Here at Twin Beans, we also, since it's a concentrate, we can use it in our lattes. So we're just gonna add some milk there, and that's really all you need to do. You have your latte, you have your iced coffee, and you're pretty much all set to go.
I'm Paul Graff.
And I'm Sara Graff.
And we're with Twin Beans Coffee. Thank you for watching and enjoy your coffee and your cold brew today.